Dear English literature learners, my today's topic is Renaissance, Elizabethan, Jacobean and Puritan age, 1558 to 1660, part A. Brief questions with answers. This part consists of 3 videos, so watch all the 3 videos to have a complete idea on the topic. Elizabethan, Jacobean and Puritan age. Question 99. What are the translated prose works of the Elizabethan period? The Essays of Montaigne, Lives of the Noble Grecians and Romance of Plutarch, Aeneid of Virgil, Homer's Odyssey, Ovid's Metamorphoses are some of the translated prose works of the Elizabethan period. Question 100 mentions some of the literary criticisms of the Elizabethan period. The literary criticisms of the Elizabethan period are Sir Philip Sidney's Apology for Poetry, Stephen Gosson's The School of Abuse, William Webb's Discourse of English Poetry, Daniel's Defense of Rhyme, etc. Question 101. Who is the author of The Prince, Art of War and Florentine History? Answer. Machiavelli is the author of The Prince, Art of War and Florentine History. Question 102. Who translated Plutarch, The Lives of Noble Grecians and Romans? Answer. Sir Thomas North translated The Lives of the Noble Grecians and Romance of Plutarch. It was an ambitious and great work and a masterpiece. Question 103. Who is Francis Bacon? Answer. Francis Bacon was a renowned essayist of the Elizabethan period. He is famous for his essays Novum Organum, Advancement of Learning and New Atlantis. Question 104. Who is Holinshed? Answer. Raphael Holinshed was the writer of Chronicles of England, Scotland and Ireland. It is in fact a compilation of English, Scottish and Irish history from a variety of earlier sources. Question 105. Who is Richard Hakluyt? Richard Hakluyt is famous for his principal navigations, voyages and discoveries of the English nation. He collected and brought together different accounts given by different writers about the great English voyages of discoveries and adventures during the Elizabethan period. Question 106. What were the important literary forms of the Elizabethan period? Answer. During the Elizabethan period, there were rich and varied literary forms. These are poetry, drama, and prose. Question 107. What are the poetic forms of the Elizabethan period? Answer. The poetic forms of the Elizabethan period are dramatic poetry, lyrical poetry, descriptive and narrative poetry, religious poetry, satirical poetry, and didactic poetry, etc. Question 108. What are the dramatic forms of the Elizabethan period? Answer. The dramatic forms of the Elizabethan period are tragedy, comedy, and tragicomedy. Question 109. What are the prose forms of the Elizabethan period? Answer. The prose forms of the Elizabethan period are essay, novel, literary criticism, religious prose, romance, pamphlet, chronicle, translations, pastoral romance, secular and serious prose, etc. Question 110. Who are the persons addressed to in Shakespeare's sonnets? Answer. Of Shakespeare's 154 sonnets, 1 to 26 are addressed to a beautiful youth. 26 sonnets, 127 to 152, are addressed to a coquettish woman, dark haired, dark eyed, pale cheeked, and the last two sonnets to Cupid. Question 111. What are the different periods in Shakespeare's literary art? Answer. Scholars and critics have divided 24 years of Shakespeare's literary activities into 4 successive periods. The first period, 1588 to 1595, the period of apprenticeship. The second period, 1595 to 1601, the comic period. The third period, 1601 to 1608, the tragic period. The fourth period, 1608 to 1612, the culmination period. Question 112. What is the Globe Theatre? Answer. The first Globe Theatre was constructed in 1599. Shakespeare's most mature plays were staged first there. Destroyed by a devastating fire in 1613, the Globe was reconstructed and reopened in 1640. The Globe continued its function till the closure of the theatre in 1642. Jacobean Age, 1603, 1616 to 1625. Question 113. Who are the Jacobean dramatists? Answer. Beaumont and Fletcher, John Marston, Ben Jonson, Middleton, Chapman, Thomas Dekker, Heywood, Creel Turner, John Webster, etc. were the Jacobean or post-Shakespearean dramatists. Question 114. Why are the Jacobean plays called decadent plays? Answer. The Jacobean plays are called decadent plays because there was a moral degradation and decline in drama. There was an absence of moral standards and a disregard of moral values in the plays of this period. Question 115. What are the themes of Jacobean plays? Answer. The themes of Jacobean plays were unnatural. Instead of choosing lofty, imaginative, and sublime themes, the Jacobean dramatists ran rather immoral and obscene objects. The plays were directly based on illegal or illicit love. Question 116. Who was King James I? Answer. King James IV of Scotland was crowned as James I to rule over England. He was entitled to mount the English throne after Elizabeth's death in 1603, and thus united the two crowns under the names of James I of England. The period of James I is known as the Jacobean period in England. Question 117. Who were the principal prose writers of the Jacobean period? Answer. The principal prose writers of the Jacobean period are Robert Burton, Sir Thomas Browne, Jeremy Taylor, Richard Baxter, Thomas Fuller, Sir Thomas Urquhart, Isaac Walton, John Milton, Edward Hyde, Thomas Hobbes, James Harrington, etc. Question 118. Who was Richard Barton? Answer. Richard Barton was an eminent prose writer of the Jacobean period. He is famous all over the English reading world for his medical work, The Anatomy of Melancholy. Question 119. What is the Anatomy of Melancholy? Answer. The Anatomy of Melancholy is a prose work of Richard Barton. It was published in 1621. This book deals with melancholia, its causes, symptoms, and remedy. Two types of melancholy are described here: love melancholy and religious melancholy. Question 120. Who is Sir Thomas Browne? Answer. Sir Thomas Browne is the first notable name among the Jacobean prose writers. He is famous for his first work, Religio Medici, a confession of his own personal religious creed. His other works are Vulgar Errors and Burial or Hydotaphia, The Garden of Cyrus, Christian Morals, etc. Question 124. What is Religio Medici? Answer. Religio Medici is a prose work of Sir Thomas Browne. It is a confession of his own personal and religious creed. It is in essence a mystical acceptance of Christianity. Religio Medici means the religion of a physician. Question 122. Who is Richard Baxter? Answer. Richard Baxter was a Jacobean prose writer. He was a religious author of the age. His two famous works are the Saints' Everlasting Rest and Call to the Unconverted. Question 123. Who is Thomas Fuller? Answer. Thomas Fuller was a royalist clergyman. He is especially known for his work on religion. His best known works are The Holy War, The Holy State and The Profane State, The Church History of Britain and Orthies of England. Question 124. Who is Sir Thomas Urquhart? Answer. Sir Thomas Urquhart was a Jacobean prose writer. He is famous for his prose work, Revelation. It was written in an elaborately music style. Question 125. Who is Isaac Walton? Answer. Isaac Walton was a Jacobean prose writer. His two prose works are Lives and The Complete Angler. Question 126. What are the prose works of John Milton? Answer. As a prose author in English literature, John Milton deserves a high commendation. His prose works are Areopagitica, The Divorce Tracts, Tenure of Kings and Magistrates, Iconoclastes, The Ready and Easy Way to Establish a Free Commonwealth, etc. Question 127. Who is Edward Hyde? Answer. Edward Hyde is a prose writer of the Jacobean period and is famous for his book History of Rebellion and Civil Wars in England. Question 128. Who is Thomas Hobbes? Answer. Thomas Hobbes is a great philosophical and political writer of the Jacobean period. His political and ethical theories are expressed in his great work, Leviathan. Question 129. Who is James Harrington? James Harrington is an author of the Jacobean period and is famous for his book, The Commonwealth of Oceania. It is a political romance and sets forth arguments against Hobbes' Leviathan and repudiates absolute monarchy. Puritan age 1603 to 1616 to 1660. Question 130. What do you mean by Puritanism? Answer. Puritanism was the doctrine or school of English Protestants of the 16th and 17th centuries. The Puritans took the Bible as their guide and they were anti-Catholic. Question 131. What do you mean by metaphysical poetry? Answer. The poems of the post-Elizabethan poets are called as metaphysical poetry. Metaphysical poetry begins early in the Jacobean age. In the later period of Shakespearean age, Donne is called the leader of metaphysical school of poetry. Question 132. Who are called the metaphysical poets? John Donne and his followers like George Herbert, Richard Crashaw, Henry Vaughan, Thomas Carlyle, Andrew Marvell are called the metaphysical poets. Question 133. Why are they called metaphysical poets? Answer. Donne and his followers are called metaphysical poets because of their use of unfamiliar images, simile, metaphors, conceits, etc. The metaphysical poets are more logical and argumentative in their expression of love. Question 134. What is the main difference between metaphysical love poetry and Elizabethan love poetry? Answer. Metaphysical love poetry was a reaction against the conventional love poetry of the Elizabethan era. Elizabethan love poetry was spiritual in temperament, but metaphysical love poetry gives emphasis on the physical aspect of love. They show a combination of body and soul in the aspect of love. Question 135. What are the main characteristics of metaphysical poetry? Answer. The main characteristics of the metaphysical poetry are lyrical quality and elements of love, use of learned allusions, simile, metaphors, far-fetched imageries and use of conceits, etc., use of phrase and diction and figures of speech. Question 136. What do you mean by a conceit? Answer. Conceit is an instrument by which metaphysical poets reveal their wit. It expresses their learning and witticism. Because of their learning and witticism, because of the use of conceit, metaphysical poetry becomes dramatic. Question 137. Who is the founder of the metaphysical school of poetry? Answer. John Donne is well known as the founder of the metaphysical school of English poetry. His poetry bears the originality of true metaphysical poet and his influence on subsequent poets. Question 138. Name some of the important poems of John Donne. Answer. Some of the well-known poems of John Donne are Good Morrow, Sun Rising, Valediction, Forbidding Morning, Canonization, The Ecstasy, The Flea, Go and Catch a Falling Star, etc. Question 139. Who is Andrew Marvell? Answer. Andrew Marvell is one of the most remarkable metaphysical poets. His two great poems are To His Core Mistress and The Definition of Love. Question 140. Who is George Herbert? Answer. George Herbert is a notable metaphysical poet. His famous poems include Affliction, The Pulley, Virtue, Man, The Temple, The Collar, etc. Question 141. Who is Henry Vaughan? Answer. Henry Vaughan occupies a prominent place in English metaphysical poetry. His books include poems Olor, Ischanos, Silex, Scintillant, Thalia Rediviva, etc. Question 142. Who is Richard Crashaw? Answer. Richard Crashaw was a metaphysical poet. His best works are Steps to the Temple and Carmen Dio Nostro. In many ways, he is not a metaphysical poet and is different from Donne and Herbert. Question 143. Who are the Cavalier poets? Answer. The secular poets of the middle of the 17th century are known as Cavaliers. They were Royalists. Robert Herrick and Thomas Carlyle, Sir John Suckling, John Cleveland, and Richard Lovelace were Cavalier poets. Question 144. Who is Robert Herrick? Answer. Robert Herrick was one of the greatest of the Cavalier poets. His 2 volumes of poems are Novel Numbers and Hesperides. His best known shorter poems are To Antea, To Julia, Cherry Ripe, etc. Question 145. Who is Thomas Carlyle? Answer. He is one of the Cavalier poets. He is known for his courtly, amorous verses. His love poems such as The Rapture is particularly well remembered. Question 146. Who is John Suckling? Answer. John Suckling typifies the Cavaliers in his frivolity, audacity, easy morals, and wit. His 2 best lyrics are Ballad Upon a Wedding and Why So Pale and When Fond Lover. Question 147. Who is Richard Lovelace? Answer. Lovelace is one of the Cavalier poets. He is remembered for the poems To Lucasta, Going to the Wars, To Athea, From Prison, etc. Question 148. Who is John Cleveland? Answer. John Cleveland is one of the Cavalier poets. His most successful work is The Scot. Question 149. Who is Milton? Answer. Milton is the greatest epic poet in English literature. He belonged to the Puritan age. He is famous for his Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained, Samson Agonistes, Areopagitica, etc. Question 150. What is Paradise Lost? Answer. The Paradise Lost is a great epic written by John Milton. It is regarded as the first great modern epic, and Milton remains the first and the greatest modern epic poet in English. Question 151. What are the last 3 great works of Milton? Answer. The last 3 great works of Milton are Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained, Samson Agonistes. In these poems, Milton's style reaches the Olympian height and secures for him a sure place among the great masters of muses, Homer, Dante, and Shakespeare. Question 152. What is Areopagitica? Areopagitica is the greatest prose work of Milton. This work is a clarion call for the liberty of the press by one who remained over a great defender of liberty, religious, political, and civil. Question 153. What are the prose works of Milton? Answer. The prose works of Milton are Areopagitica, the anti-prelatical pamphlets of Reformation, touching church, discipline of England, prelatical episcopacy, the reason of church government, and apology for Smitimerus, the diverse pamphlets, doctrine and discipline of divorce, etc. Question 154. Name some of the important poems of John Milton. Some remarkable poems of John Milton are Nativity, Ode, El Allegro, and 2, Penseroso, Arcades, Comus, Lycidas, O Nightingale, How Soon Had Time, On the Death of a Fair Infant, etc. Question 155. What is Samson Agonistes? Samson Agonistes is a classical tragedy written by John Milton. It is perhaps the most perfect English play on the model of the classical tragedies of Greece by Aeschylus and Sophocles. Question 56. What is Milton's aim to write Paradise Lost? Milton himself states that he has an aim to write Paradise Lost, and it is to justify the ways of God to man. In religious literature in English, Paradise Lost has a high position for its grand, inspired Christian objective. Question 157. Who is John Bunyan? Answer. John Bunyan is a notable name in the prose literature of the 7th century. He is famous for his The Pilgrim's Progress. His other works are The Holy War, The Life and Death of Mr. Badman, Greece Abounding, etc. Question 158. What is The Pilgrim's Progress? Answer. The Pilgrim's Progress is a prose work and has an allegory written by John Bunyan in the 7th century. It allegorizes the journey of a truly Christian soul through the worldly obstacles of life. This prose bears the gems of the novel, though it is not a real novel. Thank you for watching. My next video will be on the short questions and answers on the Elizabethan age, part B. Thank you.